was asked to bartend the most exclusive and remote concert ever in the middle of the Atlantic rainforest in Brazil, held by a Grammy-nominated DJ duo. And they needed signature cocktails to serve to their hundreds of guests. And while I'm accustomed to serving hundreds of guests, I'm accustomed to doing it from behind a bar. What I'm not accustomed to is serving hundreds of people in the most remote concert venue ever, which, by the way, wasn't even a concert venue 24 hours prior to it. I've always wanted to create signature cocktails for a major event like this. It's a real big showcase for any bartender who's getting to show off their creativity, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'd be able to do so in such an incredible event back in my home country. Getting to showcase original cocktails that I created for my little Brazilian bar and restaurant all the way here in Massachusetts. How the heck did I get here?
I flew from Boston all the way to Curitiba, which is the capital of the state of Paraná in the south of Brazil. And once we landed in Curitiba, we then had to take a van all the way to Morretes, which is a small town in the middle of the Atlantic rainforest, where we'd be staying for the week.
So we came to the city to pick up some ingredients for the cocktails that we're making later today for everybody. It's like a big party at our hotel area, and we're doing this whole big thing where me and the two bartenders are going to be bartending for a big group, and we're trying to create some craft cocktails at a place that's not really prepared for it, but I'm really excited to try it out. Well, this place is awesome. It's absolutely gorgeous little town. Not that many people, very quiet, but just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful place.
And did I mention that it's a beautiful place? And it is also very remote. It's in the middle of the Atlantic rainforest. And you might be thinking to yourself, did Louis make a mistake there and mean to say the Amazon rainforest? No, the Atlantic rainforest is a rainforest that is about 10% of its original size due to deforestation. And almost all of what's left is right here around Morretes. And right in Morretes is Novo Fogo's distillery.
Novo Fogo is a cachaça brand that I've used almost exclusively at my bar and restaurant for the last 4 years. And what's awesome is that a lot of my cocktails at my bar and restaurant all use cachaça because it's such a Brazilian ingredient. And being a Brazilian bar and restaurant, I always wanted to create craft cocktails that were unique, different, and showcasing the best of what cachaça and South and Latin American flavors can be. They actually held a cocktail competition for sustainability last year, where you had to create a cocktail that was using sustainable ingredients and methods because they are all about sustainability. And the prize for this competition was a trip down to Brazil to visit their distillery, see all of their different sustainability projects, and get to spend a week down there. Yeah, I lost. And even though I didn't win the contest, Novo Fogo still asked me to come down on this trip with the other two bartenders that did win, Maxwell and Colleen, who are two incredible bartenders. And one of the coolest things about all of this is that we also all got featured in the Chilled magazine. And right here, you can see that there's an entire full-page spread of myself, Maxwell, and Colleen. So most of the write-up is about the two of them and not about me, and that's fine. But it's just really cool to get to be featured in a magazine like this that's dedicated solely to bartenders in the alcohol industry. And so needless to say, I was incredibly ecstatic when they asked me to come down on the trip and actually get to create the menu for this incredible event.
Colleen, what are we prepping?
Is this just some ultra fresh mango with some demerara sugar and a little egg?
And so we took over our hotel resort's bar area and started making some fresh ingredients and some craft cocktails, showing off that we are more than just a couple of pretty faces and that we can actually throw down. It was a really good time and we had a blast.
So the first cocktail on the menu was the Canary. And the Canary is a cocktail that we've featured here at my bar and restaurant and was actually created by one of my bartenders, Anthony, and I just helped him refine the recipe. I know I said it was my signature cocktail, but it was the restaurant signature cocktail. And shout out to Anthony because it's an incredible cocktail. So the first thing we're gonna do is 3/4 of an ounce of Chinar, 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice, 1.5 ounces of pineapple, fresh pineapple, and 2 ounces of a Amburana aged cachaça. I'm using Novo Fogo's Colibri. We're gonna just add a couple of cubes, knock it up and shake it up. We're gonna fill this up with pebbled ice. And then we're gonna garnish with a dehydrated pineapple wedge, which is amazing, and a pineapple frond. And there you have the Canary. It's a little bit bitter, a little sweet, a little tart. It's a perfect combination and it makes you want to keep sipping it. It is one of my favorite cocktails that we have here at my bar and restaurant. So last night was pretty fun. First cocktail I went to go make for Tucker, my shaker exploded open and I got it all over me. So you know, embarrassing moments. I wish I caught it on tape. Bartender for like 30 people, felt like I worked a shift, had some beers after, slightly hungover this morning, but you know, fun times.
But let's back up for a moment. Did you catch that on the front of the magazine? That is Sophie Tucker on the cover, and they are the ones performing at this incredible concert. They are Grammy nominated, have played huge shows across the world such as Coachella and Lollapalooza, and they've recently partnered with Novo Fogo. And so I got to spend a week with them learning about Novo Fogo's reforestation projects, and I even got to have an awesome conversation with them about their partnership and what they were doing down there. Cachaça is a very obscure spirit. It's hard to say, it's hard to read. And what attracted you to want to work with and partner with Novo Fogo?
I mean, I think for us, it's because of our connection with Brazil. I used to live in Brazil, and a lot of our lyrics, a lot of our songs are in Brazilian Portuguese.
I also love the cachaça. I love the caipirinha. And it's just the people who work at Novo Fogo are so aligned. And like Sophie is sober, and she's just as excited as I am about this partnership because how much they're doing to reforest the rainforest and to do things for the world that are so important. It's a carbon negative company.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really the aspect. This is an opportunity for us to actually really be involved in this place and in making sure that the rainforest, which is such a huge source of inspiration for us, you know, is actually like around and the biodiversity remains. And it's been so cool to actually like get our hands dirty and be down here and be learning about like the intricate process of reforestation, which Dr. Ziller, who we met, who is in charge of the project, is just amazing. And yeah, we're very proud to be a part of it.
And some of you might be thinking, oh, but Louis, aren't you the person who's anti-celebrities in the spirit industry? Yes and no. My complaints have always been actually rooted around tequila and the unsustainable practices happening there. And Novo Fogo is one of the most sustainable brands I've ever seen. And I've seen with my own eyes the lengths that they go through to actually make sure that they are being as 100% sustainable as possible. They're carbon negative. They have a reforestation project that I participated in. And if you want to know more about that, I have a whole other video that you can check out right here next after this one. And what's been really awesome is the fact that we're staying at this resort hotel. So it's myself, Maxwell and Colleen, the Sophie Tucker team, the Novo Fogo team, and everybody's just been basically like living together at this hotel resort. And I feel a little weird, to be honest with you. I'm a bartender. I make silly videos on the internet, and it's been really awesome. And they really do make me and really have made me feel like family. The second cocktail on the menu that evening was a cocktail called the Nascer do Sol, which is actually a non-alcoholic cocktail because Sophie from Sophie Tucker doesn't drink any alcohol, and and a lot of other people don't. So it was great to be able to have an event and have a cocktail that wasn't alcoholic. And so this cocktail is actually a non-alcoholic version of a cocktail from my menu called the Açaí next Tuesday. And so how do we make it? We're gonna do a handful of mint leaves. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of an acai syrup. And acai is a little berry that is super, super iconic and typical of Brazil. We're then gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice and a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. And if you were going to make this an acai next Tuesday, the alcoholic version, you would do 1.5 ounces of gin. I particularly like doing the St. George's Terroir. That's the one that we use for the acai next Tuesday. But for this one, we're gonna make it like I did for the concert. And strain this out over the top. It's not gonna look like there's much in here, but that's because we're missing the final ingredient. And then we're going to fill this up with soda water. There's a lot of flavor in this. And so with that soda water, it's gonna make it nice, bubbly, and bright. And then for the last step, we're gonna spank a mint leaf, and then float it right over the top. And there you have the Nascer do Sol. Lovely. The acai is very earthy, it's rich, the lemon is nice and bright, and then the soda water really elevates it and makes it an easy sipper. But it's very complex and really fun and showcases that a cocktail doesn't necessarily need alcohol to be fun and lovely. And so for this concert, they are basically transforming their distillery into the world's most exclusive Coachella. They built this beautiful stage that just you can see the mountains in the back, the sugarcane fields, and it's like a crazy operation, kind of a miracle because it's very difficult to get all of this stuff here. And truthfully, I don't know if they're gonna get it done in time. Like, the show is supposed to be in the afternoon.
And then the big day finally arrived.
So I'm off to go train the bar team on how to make these cocktails for the concert.
And so when I arrived, the bar still wasn't set up, so I couldn't actually start training the team quite yet. They were still setting up the bar, getting all of the prep done. So what I decided to do was break out my drone and film all of this sexy footage that you've been seeing in this video up until this point. Well, that is until...
So, having way too much fun flying my drone, crashed it into a tree and had to jump into a sugarcane field to rescue it, but I found it and I was terrified that I was gonna lose my drone, and we got it though. This is fucking crazy. Yeah, well, I'm safe, I'm not too dirty, just my shoes, and yeah, we're back at it, and I gotta go train some people on how to make cocktails.
And then after they got the bar set up, it was finally time to go through each and every single one of these cocktails and showing the bar team exactly how to create each one, given the circumstances that we had. And it was actually really fun to get to dive into the explanation of each of these cocktails and show them how to make it, because these are my babies. And then setting these guys loose to then be able to make these cocktails for this event, it was a very proud moment for me.
And the last cocktail that I featured on the menu that night, and one of my personal favorite creations ever, is the Tropical Gangster. So we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of Novo Fogo's barrel-aged cachaça. We're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of passion fruit syrup, 1/4 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice, 1/2 ounce of cinnamon syrup, and 3/4 ounce of a coffee liqueur. I like to use Mr. Black's. Add some ice, lock it up and shake it up. Grab our low ball, a large cube, and we're going to strain this out over our large cube. And then I like to garnish it with 3 coffee beans, just for good luck, right over the large cube. And there we have the Tropical Gangster. That is so delightful. The passion fruit and coffee, I originally didn't think it was going to work as a flavor combination, and I had a cocktail at a different bar that used that flavor combination, and I thought I need to create something with that flavor combination. I worked really hard on it for months, and I created this. It was a special on my menu last year, and the passion fruit and the coffee mixed beautifully, which I know is a flavor combination that maybe doesn't sound like it would work, but it's actually a match made in heaven. The lime brings a little bit of tartness, the cinnamon really combines well with the cachaça, and it all comes together in a beautiful, delightful, refreshing, deep, dark, and complex cocktail known as the Tropical Gangster. I love this. It is one of my favorite creations ever. Off to a concert in the jungle, I guess.
So I do have a confession to make. I actually didn't work the concert. I did train them on how to make all of my cocktails, and the team executed them flawlessly. It was really great to watch as they created my cocktail for all of these different people, and I still got to enjoy the concert as a viewer and spectator. It was incredible, and I'm sorry if you feel like I cheated you on this, but the team worked so great in all of that rain, and I felt so proud of them. And then the concert kicked off, and Sophie and Tucker did their thing, and it was a really great time.
So, what a day. It's been insane. I mean, to think that cocktails that I created at my little bar and restaurant in Massachusetts were gonna be served at a concert for a really dope duo of DJs across the world at a distillery in the middle of the rainforest, I would have never imagined that. Like, that's just been such a crazy thing to me. I started making silly videos for the internet, and somehow that, in conjunction with having a restaurant that focused on Brazilian food and booze, led me here. Like, that's crazy to me. I feel like an outsider. Like, why am I invited on this trip? Like, why am I being included in all these events? And then all of a sudden you see all these people holding these glasses of cocktails, or plastic cups of cocktails that I came up with. It's just like, it doesn't make sense to me, and I still don't think this is real life. I don't know. I feel very proud, and it's just been fucking awesome, man. I just have gratitude.
for all of this. It's been really, really great. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's what I wanted to say. I'm gonna go to bed now. It's been a really long day, but it's been great. It's been really, really fun. This whole trip's been incredible. I can't believe it. Genuinely, I really can't.